was Renick's room. She liked to keep her babies there. She'd always get in and she'd look out the window towards the ocean. She had all of her toys, her pictures, all of her books. She loved to read. And then you see these are her dresses that she was excited to wear, some that she'd gotten a little out of, but she was only 3 years old when they gave her only 3.
Tauli Anderson with California Family Law Naked Truth, here with Connie Thompson here in Orange County, California. While she goes through a family court case here in Orange County, she shows that the judges are not reviewing the evidence.
She was taken away from me December 7th, 2022, when she was 3 years old. Back in 2021, my daughter started coming home complaining about some issues that were extremely concerning. Because of the issues, had to deal with, little girl areas, I did take her to the doctor. When we did that, her father took me into court. We had a full court hearing in October of 2021. Unfortunately, when this was happening, my mom was also passing away. So I was hearing my daughter tell me some harmful stuff, and then my mom was experiencing the end of her life. We went through the full court hearing, and that's when Judge Palafox told me that it was my obligation as a parent, if my daughter was complaining about certain areas, that I should take her to the doctor. And that's what I did. Unfortunately, she would come home. She would have bruises. Then she would go back to her dad. Then she would come home again. And then she had a UTI. When that UTI occurred, we did contact, not myself, but the hospital, due to what my daughter disclosed to the nurses and the doctors, did inform law enforcement and Child Protective Services. They came in, they evaluated her, and that's when we had the opportunity to talk to a child abuse investigator. So they were doing their part. He had me do what's called a cast, which is when a child who's complaining about something sits with somebody apart from the parent, so I was not there, and they went through questions. We went through the questions. They did say that she was continuously reminding or saying something about needles and something about hammers. When that happened, we did have on December 7th an emergency hearing because the father was saying that I was the one hurting my daughter and making her say that it was her dad doing it to her.
The mother says she told Judge Palafox her daughter had a cast, but no one looked at the evidence. Custody was immediately taken away from the mother. But during her third monitored visit, the child was so terrified, Orange County Sheriff deputies were called. And that is when the daughter shared with the deputies her father hurt her.
She even said right here, my dad says I'm a bad girl. I will be good if you let me go back home with my mom. But instead of that happening, a senior social worker came, took my daughter, and said that she is fine with the father. They find nothing wrong. Right after that, that was on 12/20. So this happened on 12/20. Immediately, her father signed an emergency hearing against me, the mother, saying that I am the one sexually abusing my daughter. They took it to a Judge Carmen, who is not familiar with our case, and Judge Carmen immediately terminated my visits without speaking to the court-ordered monitor. So my visits were terminated, and that's where we get into a new case. So we have another hearing with now Judge Palafox. And in the meeting with Judge Palafox, my daughter's father tells them that I've taken her to the doctor or emergency room visit 22 times in 2 months. I have my daughter's health history, and at no time, this is 3 months, my daughter had bruises, she had a UTI, and we had to do follow-ups because she kept complaining. But this is 9 visits in 3 months. But because Judge Palafox will not look at evidence, they accuse me of having Munchausen's disease, which I don't.
Connie says she spent thousands of dollars on specialists and hospital visits to prove her daughter's injuries. She even brought police reports, but Judge Palafox wouldn't take anything unless it came from an attorney.
I have actually personally been through 10 different attorneys. And right before we're about to go to case or to have my hearing, I have letters that they just quit on me. They say, I'm not going to take your case, Connie. I can't work with you anymore, Connie. And pretty much John Schillings intimidates them to no end, to where they just give up on helping me. Here, where he says that I've taken her 22 times, Judge Palafox decides that a mom is too dangerous to be around my child without supervision. So I'm currently, for the last 3 years, I'm only allowed to see my daughter for 2 hours once a week with a monitor who watches my every word. I'm not even allowed to take pictures of her. I've had to rely on Polaroids. These are pictures I used to have of my daughter and I. Of me and my baby. Now I have to rely on Polaroids because they won't allow me to use my phone.
And this is why California Family Law Naked Truth is spearheading recall efforts against judges they say are corrupt. That's including Judge Palafox. Follow along for more information on their Instagram, CaliforniaFamilyLawNT, or visit the website, CaliforniaFamilyLawNakedTruth.org. I'm Tauli Anderson reporting.